This is Brad Brooks, man, from 3rd and 30, and also HBCU Spotlight TV. I'm with offensive tackle Brandon Parker of the North Carolina A&T Aggies. I know this is a crazy week for you, man. Draft day is here this Thursday, April 26th. And, man, I just really want to, ask you, how are you feeling right now, man? What's going through your mind? How is it to be Brandon Parker right now in this day and age?
It feels good, man. After the season, after our Celebration Bowl, it seemed like this week, not just the draft day, but just this draft week was forever away, and now it's finally here. This week you get to see the result of all the work you've been putting in so far to get to where you are, and hopefully you hear your name called one of these days.
Yeah, man. Hey, first and foremost, being a student, I really want to say, man, it's amazing that, A&T is getting that love and, that notoriety now, because I know for you, being a player, and, A&T recruiting you, you probably felt like there already was a lot of talent on these rosters. The scouts just didn't know it. So, for now, people, taking more awareness of you guys, man, A&T's about to put out 2 pros back-to-back years. What is that like, to know that you always felt that you were this good, but now people are really just, taking notice of it?
It feels good, you can't, you got to thank Tariq for being, the first guy to get there. Well, not the first guy, but the first guy to get drafted from A&T in a long time, and hope I'm in the same shoes as he was. But, we've always had, like you said, we've always had talent around this area. It's just because we're a small school, we get the same respect, and we're not on as big of a scale. But, playing with these guys every day and seeing what they're capable of, we knew we had NFL talent on the team. It's just nice to finally get us noticed.
Yeah, man. Brandon, you got to participate in the Reese Senior Bowl this year. And, the first thing a lot of people think of the Senior Bowl, they think of the big schools, the FBS schools. You got to see players like Baker Mayfield, who's probably going to be possibly a first-round selection, Josh Allen. And you really got to go out there and compete with some of the top offensive linemen, as well as get coached by some good coaches. What was that weekend like for you, and what was some things that you were able to take in from that weekend as well?
It was just completely exciting to get to play out there. Be around all that talent, and for me to be considered one of the top talent guys there as well, to even be selected for that game. It feels like kind of being in the NFL, but just for college players only. You're around the NFL staff, learning from them. You're around NFL caliber players, and you make good bonds with those players too, that you're probably going to play against or be on a team with one day.
Yeah, man. I know also as well, man, the teams that you're on, sometimes they're usually handpicked. Those rosters are selected. You were on the South roster. How have you been able to, stay in contact with some of those coaches and those connections that you met as well with the draft process? Because I know when you go to the combine, a lot of people say it's not really the physical test, being, doing the agility, doing the bench press. It's more of the mental thing, the mental capacity of being interviewed. And what has that been like, keeping those connections and, being interviewed by coaches, really dissecting your brain?
It's been good. It was the evidence of just the good of a connection, good of a bond we had when I went to the combine, and I actually seen the offensive line coach there that coached me at the Senior Bowl. He just lit up as soon as he seen me, and I lit up when I seen him. So, it's just good to make those bonds, and then they remember what type of player you are and what type of, how coachable you were and stuff like that. So I think, just with going, and then with the big dog, touching on the mental side, it was very mentally draining and demanding. You're taking a lot of psychological tests that just, you're going hours with little sleep. They're just fast paced. They're just trying to put you as uncomfortable as possible and see how you thrive. But most of us withstand the test of that. Yeah,
man, for sure. I know one of my buddies, he was telling me he actually is in the NFL Combine as well. He was just saying, man, that Wonderlic, man, it's like you think you know stuff, but it's like when you take that wonder, it's like, do I know this? Kind of like that in a way. But man, Brandon, we mentioned it earlier before we started the interview. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina as well, and you're from that area as well, right outside of Kannapolis. And Kannapolis has a lot of legends. One of my good friends, his dad, Ethan Horton, also Lance Smith. He was at one of my football camps when I was a kid. And he's a lineman, played the same position as you and your dad as well, being a Chapel Hill guy. And you said that's one of your biggest influences. How was that, how did that go? I'm looking at you, 6'7", big body, man, every year, and it's on your scout report. Every year your frame just continue to get bigger. Why was your recruiting process, so it wasn't as big as what people would think about you, How did you end up in North Carolina A&T? Because I know you had a sister who played basketball here, but how did Brandon Parker end up in Greensboro?
Well, quite simple. I just wasn't this big, coming out. And then my junior year, I didn't have the greatest year as far as film. So when, going into my senior year where you can kind of get ahead of the recruiting ball, I didn't have that advantage. I didn't have film I could show to them. I kind of really didn't have anything to show how good a player I was. So granted, my senior year had a good year. And like, before I mentioned, Ethan Horton going to Carolina and my dad going to Carolina as well. Carolina was recruiting me. But when this is 2013 when they had the APR issues, the scholarship, and all that. So I kind of wasn't affected that. They didn't have any athletic scholarships. They offered like an academic type of package, but I just, A&T was guaranteed money, and I fell in love with the program. So I decided to A&T.
Yeah, man. You mentioned falling in love with the program. You were really one of the people that set the standard here. As good as a history A&T had, they sent players to the NFL. A lot of people love the Aggie Pride experience, but you guys really set the standard. With Coach Broadway being able to capture 2 historically black national championships, going to the Celebration Bowl. Man, how was that experience, man? As you guys really built the program since your freshman year, because you've been a 4-year starter and you really got to take it all in. What was that like for you?
It felt good. When we first got in there, like you said, 2013, I think that was Broadway's first season. So they, there's a big expectation for that team, but it's like we were his first technically recruiting class. So, we all bought into the program. We all liked this coach. We realized we could take this program. So we got there kind of with our eyes wide open, ready to learn, ready to work hard, and then, each and every one of us got our individual opportunities to step up and help the team, and we did, and ended up, last year putting it together and being the leaders that we needed to be to take the team to a perfect season. Yeah,
man, definitely. You guys definitely balled out, man. And you mentioned him early, Tariq Cohen, man. It's just a name people are very familiar with now, man. I got friends back home, like guys that never even knew anything about A&T. They play Madden and say, man, you ever heard of Tariq Cohen? I think he went to your school. And I'm like, yeah, I got to, watching him, it was like, yeah, I knew he could be special. Being able to block for that guy, being his starting left tackle, what was that like, man? Really, seeing him from practice and his preparation for the game, man. What was that like, to be able to have a teammate of that caliber, and now you're looking to be in his shoes as well, fulfilling your NFL dream?
It was special. I mean, there's no secret the type of talent that kid had. It was, at first, it was kind of a best kept secret until they kind of, came out. I think it's coming out. The game was 2013 when we played Hampton. He broke out like 270-something yards just out of nowhere. And then we had seen it before in practice, but after that, it just took off. And then we finally got a chance to start and be the running back. The sky was the limit. So blocking for a kid like that is, you could barely touch the guy, or block the guy for maybe a second or half a second, and then Tariq is out the gate. Like, it made our job so much easier. Not only did he make himself look good, but he made us look good in the process too.
Yeah, man, definitely. Brandon, I also want to ask you this, man. Offensive lineman, that's not the glamour position for the novice fan, as a football fan. They don't really only know the quarterbacks, the receivers, and all the other skill positions. But you guys are the guys that make the game count. You guys are up front. You're really in the trenches, man. You're getting dirty. What is it like, man, being a 4-year starter, competing at the college level, and then going to the combine, going to the Senior Bowl, now you're going to have the chance to go to the next level, man, to say, man, like, I'm really about to compete with some big guys, because everybody's big in the NFL. It's not just like college where you're the biggest guy on the field. What is that like for that competition standpoint?
You got to embrace it. The type of competitor I am, I don't back down to anybody. Never have, never will. Even when I was off 260 playing my first shot, I never feared for a second that I didn't belong out there. So I think you just I keep that same mentality, just work hard and take coaching and improve as a player physically and mentally. I'll be okay.
And I know, man, we mentioned it, from the accolades, you being a first-team All-FCS player this year, winning Offensive Lineman of the Year again. This has been a huge year for you, man. And also, man, that Aggie Eagle Classic, I saw that you, proposed to your fiance, man. Congratulations on that. How has all this, really shaped you to the person that you are, looking back 4 years where you were in high school to now? It's like, man, like, how do you feel as a person nowadays?
I think I think a lot of people attest to I'm the same person. I'm humble. I work hard. I'm not fake. I'm real with everybody. I'm just even kill guy. So I think, you look at me high school coming out, look at me now. Obviously, I'm matured, but I think I'm just the same guy who just never really absorbed the spotlight, just kind of, knows his job, does it well, and does it to the best of his ability.
And also, real quick, man, for the people that don't know, I know a lot of people will probably just speculate, what's the difference from left and right? Left side is usually your more athletic tackle. That's your guys that can move a little more. They got fluid hips, whatever you want to say on the scout report. That's usually what it is. But, come draft day and, next year, wherever you end up, man, out of the 32 teams, do you think, man, that you can start from day one on the left side, or what do you think, that process, or what coaches have told you, where do you think you'll end up?
I mean, I've some coaches that told me right, some coaches that told me left, some coaches that told me, how it works in the NFL, they only travel 8 or 7. So they said your best chance of getting on that field is learning how to play both, adequately. So that way, when we have to travel guys, whether you're starting or if you just need to travel, you need to be able to play both sides. So that's really what I've been focusing on this offseason, is making sure my right side is just as good as my left side.
Yeah.
I've been the left side for 4.5, 5 years. But, it's any way I can make the team, make the bus and start, I'm doing it.
Yeah, man, because you had a lot of people come out to your pro day, man, and it looked like they were rather impressed, man. You got quite a bit of reps up on your bench press, especially for a guy with your wingspan, man. That's crazy, man, that you can really, have that type of muscle endurance and stuff, as well as, being able to move as well as you do. I'm pretty sure you used to play basketball as well, so I know that kind of helps out. So that's definitely a boost in that aspect. But Brandon, man, to wrap things up, man, I want to kind of talk about, some of your influences. I know in reports you've mentioned, your offensive line coach and your dad as well, and also your mom, man. How have all those people helped shape you to be the man that you are today, really keep you humble and keep you grounded? Because I know, man, being a football player, man, sometimes it's a headache, man, being a student athlete, because you got your schoolwork, you got all these other priorities, and it's just like sometimes, man, the world can just be a little too fast sometimes, man. But how have those people really, be able to keep you grounded?
Definitely. Okay, I guess everybody's had kind of their own, individual roles. I guess, my father been there my whole life. I think he's always been that rock I can go lean on as far as whether it's football, whether it's life, whether it's, the Christian side, him being a minister, he's always there. And my mom also has been just as equal in helping me raise me and, help keep me humble, teaching me life lessons that I can take with me as I go. And then my coaches on the field as far as technique, mental thinking, learning plays, schemes, you name it. So I think everybody just had their individual role and helped shape me what I am today.
Yeah, man. Hey, Brandon, man, we mentioned it, April 26th, man, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's going to be the draft, man, the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th. Man, when it comes, man, where do you want to end up? Is there a particular place that you want to end up, or are you just, really looking forward to the opportunity to go out and compete, man?
Like I'm gonna tell you, like I've been telling everybody else, I don't care who takes me, as long as they pay me, I'm playing. It's that simple.
Yeah, man, I hear you on that. Hey, last question, man. Come your first ever snap in the NFL, man. Who's somebody you're looking forward to compete with, man? Because there's some good guys right now on that D-line, man. Especially, young guys as well. You got Joey Bosa on the D-line. J.J. Watt will be coming back. Clowney, another Carolina guy, man, from South Carolina. Who's somebody you're looking forward to compete with, man, when you get to that next level?
Man, there's so much talent in that league. It's just, wherever I play is going to be a challenge. I just, I can't wait to see how I stack up. I really can't. So I just, you just got to get better, get to your best that you can be before you play it. Just, go out there and give it your all.
Hey, man, that's facts, man, definitely. But, Brandon, I really want to appreciate you taking the time out with me, man, doing this interview. I know this is going to be a crazy week for you, man. Your phone's going to be blowing up. But, man, from 3rd to 30, HBCU Spotlight TV, and for myself, man, I'm wishing you the best of luck, man, at the next level. It's amazing to see a student athlete, to be so humbled as you are, as well as, being successful, man, all the accolades that you have accomplished. So wishing the best for you, man, and I appreciate that.
I appreciate you too, big dog.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, take it easy, man.
You too.